Simply by placing your stove and sink in this direction, your household cash flow can shift dramatically, from draining away to pouring in like a powerful stream of water. Hello, I am Master Quan. In Feng Shui, the stove and the sink are considered two of the most powerful points for either holding or losing wealth energy in the home. When these elements are placed based on convenience, what is easy for the hands or pleasing to the eyes, rather than aligned with the direction of prosperity, the natural flow of money that is meant to come in and stay gets disrupted. It cannot gather properly. That is why many families, no matter how hardworking they are, still find their financial situation unstable and unpredictable. Because the stove represents fire and the sink represents water, even a small misalignment in their placement can create a clash between these two energies. This conflict weakens the wealth energy, lowers the harmony in the household, and can even impact the health of family members. When water and fire are not positioned correctly, instead of money flowing into the house like a river, it can silently slip away without the homeowners even noticing. So in today's video, I will show you how to place your stove and your sink in the proper Feng Shui direction so that the flow of wealth energy can be opened, gathered, and nurtured to build lasting prosperity for your entire family. Before we get started, leave a comment filled with positive energy. I open the path for wealth to flow into my home every single day. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel so you can continue receiving Feng Shui guidance that will help your family stay peaceful, abundant, and grow more prosperous each day. So, how should you place the stove and the sink so that wealth truly flows into your home like water? Right now, we are going to go into direction 1 specifically so that you can adjust your kitchen space yourself and open up the channel of financial energy today. In Feng Shui, the kitchen is seen as the heart of the home, and a heart should never rest in a shaky position. So when placing the stove, the first thing I check is whether there is solid support behind it. A sturdy wall stabilizes fire energy and acts as a back support to keep wealth balanced. If there's an empty space or hallway behind it, the flame becomes shallow, energy scatters quickly, and the homeowner may feel uneasy in daily life. A stove with firm backing helps fire energy gather and grow stronger and steadier each day. Energy in a home moves in straight lines, especially from the main or side doors into the kitchen. If the stove sits directly in that flow, fire energy gets disrupted, pulled away or pushed back, making it hard to accumulate, which affects financial luck and mental focus. That is why the stove should not be directly in line with the door. Even a small shift in position can soften the energy, so when it reaches the stove, it feels calm and supportive. A stove not immediately visible from the door creates a secure, grounded feeling in the home. Windows are where strong external energy enters, bringing wind, light, and movement. If the stove sits under a window, the flame, which needs stability, will be disturbed, flickering, going out, or flaring up. An unstable flame reflects unstable energy, which affects both meals and, over time, health and wealth. A wind-free stove zone does not mean it should feel tight. It just needs to be calm, where fire can burn steadily. Window light is better used for the prep area or the sink, where that energy fits more naturally. When it comes to general energy layout, without using the owner's personal destiny number, I often recommend placing the stove facing south, east, or southeast. These directions support fire. They help the flame burn strong and balance the house's energy flow. South brings stability, while east and southeast boost growth and vitality, ideal for sustaining a kitchen's warmth and abundance. A stove in a favorable direction helps the cook feel at ease, the food tastes better, and the family feels more connected. For more accuracy, the stove can be aligned using the homeowner's destiny trigram. Each person has a set of lucky directions, and when the stove faces one of those, it supports wealth energy. Still, the basic Feng Shui rules apply. The stove must have strong backing, not face the door, not sit under a window, and not point toward chaotic spots like the bathroom. A good direction only works when matched with proper layout. Feng Shui is not just turning the stove toward a lucky angle. It's about placing it in a solid, energy-aligned position. If someone chooses a lucky direction, but puts the stove in a drafty or unstable area, that luck is quickly lost. On the other hand, when direction and placement work in harmony, the stove becomes a true energy anchor. The flame burns brighter, and a sense of peace and warmth flows throughout the home. The cook feels lighter in spirit, the house feels calmer, and prosperity grows naturally, quietly, steadily, day by day. That is when the kitchen becomes a center of abundance, a place where energy is gathered, nurtured, and retained like a steady, rhythmic breath within the home. Once you know how to place the stove to stabilize fire energy and avoid financial turbulence, the next focus should be the sink. This is where water energy lives. The daily water flow shapes the kitchen's freshness, clarity, and energy circulation. In Feng Shui, water symbolizes movement, purification, and energy circulation. So when positioning the sink, it is important that it is not only convenient for washing, but also placed where the water flows in the right direction, avoiding stagnant zones and not rushing through areas that stir chaotic energy. Ideally, the sink should be in an open, well-lit area with gentle air circulation. When water drains smoothly, without turbulence and without cutting across the cooking zone, kitchen energy remains balanced. But if placed in a tight, dark corner or drafty spot, water energy may become unstable and disrupt the kitchen's harmony. Therefore, the sink must sit in a breathable zone where both air and water flow gently and naturally. Water and fire are complete opposites, cool versus hot, dynamic versus still. When they are placed too close, their direct interaction can weaken both. Water splashing from the faucet or moisture from the sink will dampen the fire energy. Likewise, the stove's heat can strip water of its purity and softness. That's why it is essential to maintain enough distance between them. This buffer could be a counter, a prep zone, or space for tools, as long as each element has its own area to maintain its nature. When water and fire are separated, the kitchen becomes more balanced, cooking feels relaxing, and meals carry more life energy. One of the worst feng shui setups is when the stove and sink directly face each other. This creates a powerful energy clash, like two forces moving in opposite directions and crashing head-on. Water draws energy downward, while fire lifts it upward. When these two face off, they cause imbalance, leading to irritability, fatigue, and family conflicts. Worse, this setup drains wealth. Fire represents prosperity, water washes it away. So the sink must never face the stove to ensure a smooth energy flow without conflict. From the 5 elements perspective, the best directions for a sink are those aligned with water or earth supporting water, such as north, northeast, or east. These directions stabilize the flow, allowing the water energy to be calm and steady and helping cleanse the kitchen without overwhelming the fire element. This also keeps the cooking space clean, bright, and dry, which lifts the family's mood. A well-placed sink also creates a calming experience for the user. When water is stable, emotions flow more gently too. When precise alignment is needed, the sink can be placed according to secondary directions based on the homeowner's destiny trigram. These directions help clear away bad energy while staying out of the stove's energy path. The sink must never be placed in a direction that clashes with the stove's favorable orientation, or else water may weaken the fire's energy. Though water is flexible and good at balancing energy, it can also carry wealth away if placed incorrectly. So, when following destiny-based orientation, make sure the sink supports cleansing and purification, while the stove focuses on gathering and nurturing energy. Only when both elements stand in the right positions, supporting rather than opposing, can the kitchen flow like a peaceful stream, keeping your family's wealth energy moving steadily and lasting over time. Now that you understand how to arrange the stove and the sink so that water, fire are balanced, there remains one very important part that you must pay attention to: the major taboos in kitchen feng shui. Just one of these improper layouts, no matter how correct your direction is, will make it difficult for wealth energy to gather. The first major taboo to avoid is the stove and the sink facing or adjacent to each other. In feng shui, the stove is fire, the source of energy that sustains the whole home, from health, warmth, to wealth. On the contrary, the sink belongs to water, the energy of flowing, washing, and movement. When these two elements are placed in direct confrontation, even if only a few steps apart in the kitchen, the flow of energy becomes chaotic and cannot stabilize. This explains why many families, even though hardworking, responsible, still feel lacking, uneasy, or face unexpected expenses. Most of them do not think that the cause originates from a very small layout mistake in the kitchen. When the stove and the sink face each other directly, water. Fire not only conflicts symbolically, but also create a direct opposition in the energy field. The cook is trapped between two opposing energy sources, becoming more sensitive, easily irritable, or fatigued faster than usual. From that point, the family atmosphere easily leads to arguments over trivial matters, digestive and cardiovascular health can be affected over time, and the mental state cannot maintain stability. Especially the family's wealth becomes difficult to accumulate. Money may come in, but leaves fast, like a strong stream hitting a flame that is trying to stay warm. Before it can radiate, it is extinguished. If the stove and the sink are placed right next to each other without a clear buffer zone, water continuously weakens fire in a quiet but persistent way. This is a layout where the homeowner, despite working hard, still feels they cannot hold on to money. Financial plans are easily disrupted. Savings that have just been built must be used immediately for unexpected issues. The cramped placement of the two opposing energy sources makes those living in the home always feel driven into a reactive state, always having to carry burdens, being on guard, simply creating distance, or slightly changing the layout, and the energy flow will immediately become more harmonious. And you will clearly feel the difference in mental state, health, and the family's ability to accumulate. The second major taboo, stove placed underneath a horizontal beam. One of the first things I always check when I enter the kitchen of a home is whether the flame is under pressure. Fire, by its nature, can only thrive when it is protected and nurtured in a stable space. If there is a horizontal beam directly above the stove, the fire's energy will be compressed continuously, similar to a person carrying a heavy load while trying to keep breathing steadily. In Feng Shui, a horizontal beam symbolizes compressed energy. When placed right above the stove, it reduces the fire energy, causing the cook to feel tired, suffer from shoulder or neck pain, difficult to focus, and over the long term impacting the stability of the whole family. Even a small beam can create an invisible heaviness, and I've seen many homes with gloomy atmospheres simply because the stove lay directly under a forgotten beam from construction. Equally dangerous is placing the stove directly opposite the door. When you open the front door, side door, or even bathroom door, and you see the stove immediately, the incoming energy rushes straight into the fire element. Energy moves in a straight line and is strongest at the first point it meets. Therefore, a stove that lies in line with the door is easily disrupted and cannot accumulate energy well. The wealth energy accordingly also struggles to gather. It flows in and immediately flows out, like warmth just gathered but then blown out by a draft. Families with this mistake often encounter unstable finances, constant emergent expenses, or business plans that succeed, then fail unpredictably without knowing why. A hidden stove, placed off the direct sight line of the door, always brings a sense of stability and protects the flow of wealth energy more effectively than any feng shui trinket. Finally, the configuration where the stove lies right in the path of strong wind. Commonly seen in kitchens with large windows or direct ventilation paths. When wind continuously blows into the kitchen, the flame cannot maintain stability. Sometimes strong, sometimes weak, sometimes tilted, sometimes nearly extinguished. In Feng Shui, a flame that is unstable signals fluctuating wealth energy. The family is prone to sudden changes, the health of the main breadwinner fluctuates, and mental state struggles to maintain long-term calm. Strong wind also causes the energy in the kitchen to scatter, like you try to gather a stream of energy, but it keeps being blown away bit by bit. Many people do not notice this because wind and light make a kitchen look more beautiful. But from a Feng Shui viewpoint, the more windy and glamorous a kitchen looks, the more difficult it is for it to accumulate energy. The third major taboo, stove placed in the center of the house or above a water path. In Feng Shui, the center of the house is likened to the heart point, the place where all energy converges and then radiates through the entire living space. This area needs stillness, stability, and absolute solidity. If the stove, i.e., fire, is placed right in the center, the flame becomes the main disturbance in this key energy area. When fire occupies the center, the energy of the whole house is constantly agitated and cannot calm down to form stability. Families living with this layout often become short-tempered, struggle to keep calm, and experience health issues over time without clear reason. Especially a stove in the center causes wealth energy to fluctuate. When strong, it rushes in. When weak, it plunges without control. This is a Feng Shui layout that I always advise must be adjusted as soon as possible, because a disturbed center will prevent the home's entire fortune from ever being stable in truth. The second danger is placing the stove directly above a water path, commonly a major water pipe, a drainage channel, or a water supply system running under the floor. If fire represents gathering, stability, and retaining energy, then water is about flowing, moving, and dispersing. When the stove, fire, lies directly above water, the fire's energy is diminished, it weakens, and no longer holds enough strength to sustain the family's fullness. This is shown most clearly in finances. Wealth flows in but does not stay, savings that have just been built vanish, or costs keep arising, so the homeowner falls into a sense of instability. Many people feel they are unlucky, but when I inspect their home layout, I find one common point. The stove lies on a main water line. This is one of the strongest configurations that drains wealth energy, which ordinary people struggle to detect. Placing the stove over a water path also makes the entire kitchen's energy unstable. Many households experience the cook being strong sometimes, weak other times, eating patterns inconsistent, or digestion and stomach issues appearing. This is not superstition, but arises from the 5-element rule. Fire being drained by water causes the human body to lose warmth, resistance, and vitality. Especially in homes with older adults, this Feng Shui layout has a much greater effect compared with younger people. The fourth major taboo: the stove is trapped between two water elements. In Feng Shui, the stove represents fire, the energy that generates warmth, vitality, and wealth for the family. For the flame to be strong, steady, and able to nourish health and fortune, it needs space to breathe, to spread, and to accumulate energy. When the stove is placed between two water elements, such as the sink on one side and the refrigerator on the other, fire becomes compressed from both sides, like a person trying to stay upright while being pushed by two rushing streams. In that kind of energy environment, the flame cannot fully grow. It becomes weak, compressed, and loses its natural stability. As a result, no matter how hard the homeowner works, they often feel held back, blocked, or that despite putting in so much effort, the outcomes never match their expectations. When the stove is squeezed between two water sources, the energy around it loses harmony. The water from the sink continuously washes and carries things away, while the refrigerator, also considered a water element due to its cold air, draws energy in and freezes it. These two water sources create two distinct pressures on the fire. One pulls downward, the other pulls inward, leaving fire in the middle without space to function naturally. The most common result is that the primary income earner in the household often feels under pressure, struggles to make important decisions, or tends to procrastinate and lose confidence in financial plans. Many families find themselves in situations like, things were going well, then problems hit, or just as we were progressing, everything slowed down, or income remains steady but never builds into a strong foundation. This is not coincidence. It is the result of fire being unable to grow into its full potential. The refrigerator also plays a critical role in this conflicting setup. No matter how modern or spotless it may be, in terms of Feng Shui, it still belongs to the water element, because all the energy it operates with is cold air and condensed moisture. When the fridge is placed right next to the stove, cold energy constantly pulls fire energy away from the moment the flame ignites. This does not just affect the energy flow, it also impacts the cook's mental state. Cooking beside a constant stream of cold causes people to lose focus, become tired more easily, and struggle to stay relaxed while preparing meals. When fire is being squeezed by water from both sides, the energy becomes more chaotic, which directly reflects in the family's financial instability. Money flows in but does not stay. Opportunities arrive but slip through, and expenses arise more frequently from unexpected situations. Now that we have gone through these critical areas, perhaps you can feel something clearly. Prosperity in a home does not come from luck or chance. It comes from how each space operates and supports one another. The kitchen, with its role in maintaining warmth and nourishing life energy, is always the space that has the strongest impact on the mindset, health, and wealth of every family. A kitchen that is placed in a calm, harmonious state becomes a quiet but resilient energy source, helping life inside the home to flow gently and steadily. When the disruptive elements are removed, the energy in the house immediately flows more smoothly, and this creates a very noticeable shift in how each family member experiences daily life. And before we end today's video, leave a comment filled with positive energy below. I am rearranging my kitchen so that wealth stays and grows in my home. And to make sure you do not miss out on future guidance that could shift the energy pathways in your home, be sure to subscribe to this channel right now. Every video will be one more step to support the long-lasting flow of prosperity and wealth in your home.